Alrighty, in today's video, we're going to pull out the Savage 110 Tactical again. And I was looking at my bullet selection and thought, well, the 145 grain match burner did pretty good, so why not give the 140 match burner a try? So that's what we're going to use today. Going to continue using our Winchester large rifle primers and our Nosler new brass. Now, looking at Barnes load data, they list the highest velocity with IMR 4350, and I've not used IMR 4350 in probably like 6 months, so I thought, hey, why not, let's give it a try. So these hit the lands of my rifle at about 2.840 cartridge overall length, and Barnes lists a recommended overall length of 2.70. We're going to go ahead and do 2.740, and these ended up being a little bit compressed loads. We are starting out at 41.9 grains and working our way up to their max at 43.1. We're going to use 4/10 grain increments, and like I said, from about the second load on, these ended up being a little bit compressed. Not sure why they recommend such a short overall length. I would think the standard overall length would be somewhere around 2.8, but anyway, we're trying 2.740 today. Now, you'll notice my gun has a different chassis on it today. Pulled it out of the 110 Tactical stock and put it in an MDT XRS. This is the stock that we plan on using in the future. Just going to make it a little bit more comfortable to shoot, and it's a relatively affordable chassis. Now in the future, I might do a video on the chassis after I have a little bit more experience with it. But let's get out on the range and let's see how they shoot. Alrighty, so we're out here on the range. This is my 24-inch Savage 110 Tactical. Now, as you can tell, it looks a little bit different than the last time you guys saw it. It is now mounted in an MDT XRS chassis. This was kind of the plan all along, to move the gun into more of a chassis to make it a little bit more pleasant to shoot. So this is actually the first shots through the chassis. I'm hoping the point of impact doesn't change much because these are going to be, like I said, the first shots through the new chassis. We're using the 140 match burner from Barnes, and we'll throw the load data up. Actually, the load data is up on the target, so you'll be able to see that there. Gun is cold. It's about 70 degrees out this morning. It's a nice spring day to shoot. So hopefully we get some good groups, and hopefully we don't have any function issues, being that we changed the chassis. So we're going to find out here. Alright, so first load, we will magazine feed them, and we'll see how they shoot. Three-shot groups again today. Seems like we're still in that component shortage, so saving a couple dollars here shooting three-shot groups. If one of these shoots really good, we might come back and do a five-shotter, but we'll see. Alright, so we did have a decent point of impact shift. We're not going to do anything about it on our first group here. We'll just go ahead and shoot it. Alright, so group looks really good. Like I said, we are going to adjust our point of impact to get kind of closer to R0. We will go ahead and take a look at our velocity numbers there. Now that was a cold bore shot as well, which seems like doesn't really mind cold bore. Now our velocity numbers weren't great there. Our average was 2688 with our SD of 20.2. Alright, going to move on up here. Actually, we're going to move that point of impact real quick. Alright, so we should be pretty close there on our point of impact now. Let's go ahead and shoot that next group. Alright, that one looks like a pretty good group as well. Take a look at our velocity here. That one again, 27, 23 feet per second, the SD 25. So SD's not looking great today, but groups are looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and move on up. So far I'm really liking the chassis. Like I said, you've seen every shot I've taken through it, but it feels extremely solid. It is one of the more affordable MDT chassis. So we'll probably do a little bit of a more in-depth video kind of talking about some of the chassis stuff, but that'll be for another day after I have a little more experience with it. Alright, so that is the worst group of the day there. Now, we are starting to get a little bit of mirage off the barrel here, so, take that into account a little bit. We're not shooting fast, it's not super warm, but there is absolutely no wind at all. So, potentially that mirage is kind of affecting us just a little bit. That one averaged 27.55 with a 15.1 SD. So, improved SD. Now, this is new brass, so it's not like we're going to get the best SDs in the world, but would like to see better than that. Let's see how this last group does. We're going to be right up there on the top end, and hopefully we can get some good groups and some good velocity. Alright, so last one here. Alright, so it does look like the groups kind of fell apart as we worked our way up there, but I think there's probably some decent groups out there to take a look at. Let's take a look at our velocity on that last one. Alright, again, that one was 27.85 with a 15.5 SD. So let's get over there, we'll take a closer look at the groups, and we'll get back to the bench. Alright, so we're back on the bench here. Taking a look at our groups today. The first group at 41.9 grains. Shot 26.88 feet per second, 20.2 SD, and a 0.44 inch group. Now moving on to that next group, we did move our point of impact up. That charge of 42.3 grains shot 27.23 feet per second, 25.7 SD, and another 0.44 inch group. Moving on to our next group at 42.7 grains, shot 27.55 feet per second, 15.1 SD, and a 0.89 inch group. And moving on to our last group of the day at 43.1 grains, shot 27.85, 15.5 SD, and a 0.87 inch group. So groups look pretty good here. 2 under a half inch and 2 under an inch. Nothing to complain about there. Now, velocity was also really good. We worked up almost to 2,800 feet per second, which is what Barnes listed in their load data. Now, the SDs were a little bit higher than what I would like, but again, this is new brass. First time firing it. Maybe we could improve upon that with some annealing and resizing to fit our chamber. But overall, this was kind of just a fun test to see if the 140 match burner shot as good as the 145 in my Savage, and seems like that's the case. Taking a look at our brass here, there might be a couple of very, very light ejector swipes. I don't know if you'll be able to see them in the picture. I don't think that we're necessarily into scary pressure. We might even be able to push up a little bit. The bolt lifts were pretty normal, so nothing scary there. Now, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of the new chassis on the gun, and we will see you next time.